there's more. Now, kids, it's time for the Anaglyph Jukebox. Hi, Joe. What do you have for us this week?
Well, thank you, Johnny. In 2017, a documentary was released called Bombshell: The Hedy Lamarr Story. The Hedy Lamarr Story. The subtitle was Icon, Immigrant, Inventor. She was brilliant and beautiful and litigious. In 1974, she sued comedian Mel Brooks for $10 million, alleging that he used her name and identity in Blazing Saddles without permission. The use of her name and identity in the film was, quote, totally unauthorized, and she did not consent to such use, either verbally or in writing. Then in 1998, she sued Corel Corp for the unauthorized use of her image on their software packages, and she sought $5 million as a share of the profits generated. The image of hers was the winner in a contest that Corel had held for users of its graphics program. As an actress, she was billed as the most beautiful woman in the world. As an inventor, she pioneered a concept that allowed secure radio communication during World War II. This was the foundation of spectrum technology used by cell phones, Bluetooth, and early versions of Wi Fi to protect data from interception and interference. Her movie career lasted from the 30s into the 1950s. She starred in a controversial erotic romantic drama, Ecstasy, in Czechoslovakia back in 1933. In London, she met Louis B. Mayer, who offered her a film contract in Hollywood. Lamar became a film star with the romantic drama Algiers in 1938, and her most successful film was Cecil B. DeMille's religious epic Samson and Delilah, she of course played Delilah, in 1949, opposite Victor Mature. Take it away, Herb. Hedwig Eva Maria Kessler was an Austrian Jewish inventor who, along with pianist composer George Anthill, co-invented a secure radio guidance system for Allied torpedoes during World War II. The problem? Radio jamming the navigation system by the Nazis. Kessler and Anthill's solution? Using a spread spectrum and frequency hopping technology. It was called a secret communication system. It provided secure, jam-resistant communication for weapons guidance by spreading the signal across multiple frequencies. This method is now recognized as the foundation of spread spectrum technology. Its principles directly influence the development of secure wireless networking, including cell phones, Bluetooth, and early versions of Wi-Fi, which use variants of spread spectrum to protect data from interception and interference. Oh, and as Hedy Lamarr, she was also an actress, billed as, quote, the most beautiful woman in the world. She was a star from the early 1930s through the 1950s in such films as Ecstasy, 1933, which included a scandalous nude scene, Algiers, 1938, Boomtown, 1940, and White Cargo, 1942. Lamar's most successful film was the religious epic Samson and Delilah, 1949. She was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960. In 2017, an excellent documentary on her life was released, and it's well worth watching. Bombshell: The Hedy Lamarr Story. Icon, Immigrant, Inventor.
Just why you know I don't lie. Not much. It's been said she knocks 'em dead when she lands in town. Since she came, it's a shame how she cruising down. Hellas, she can't get out of Hellas. This gal has never met She left Phoebe the thought some needy sweet judge around. They all sang one night for sweet Georgia Brown. Tell you just why your wife don't like much since she came. Well, it's shame how she cools and down. It's been said she knocks in bed when she lands in town. Beg a gal, she can't get out. Beg a gal, this gal has nothing left.
She ended up living in obscurity. Did you mention that? I don't think you mentioned that in Florida, right? That's where she just kind of. No one knew who that neighbor was, but incredible life, absolutely incredible life. And thank you to bringing showing folks who probably had no clue about the wonderful, brilliant Hedy Lamarr. Thank you, Joe. Now, today's guest. I have to actually grab a thing over here because it's a little different than when I'm doing this from home. William Ye is the founder of BrainTrance.net, a San Francisco-based startup shaping the next era of immersive personal memory. His work focusing on making volumetric photos, spatial photos, and three-dimensional capture environments simple and accessible for everyday users. Now, you know that's a challenge. Everybody knows that's a challenge. William, welcome, and thank you very much for taking the time out on this Saturday early afternoon for you. Morning. It's 12 o'clock, right? Afternoon.
Hey everyone. Yeah, it's afternoon in San Francisco right now. Super excited to talk with everyone.
Great. So what we'll do is I'll ask you a few questions along the way. You have a very good presentation, and you're going to make everyone understand. I think they're going to go away knowing a lot with a whole different frame of mind. Fire away. You can share those your presentation.
Hey everyone. I'm excited to share you guys what I'm working on, BrainTrance.net. It's my startup in San Francisco. Um, So a little bit about myself. I went to New York University's campus in Shanghai. I founded the first AR/VR club in China, and I was the head of Asia outreach for intercollegiate extended reality, and was previously in investment banking and venture capital. This past summer, I was at the Founders Inc. off-season accelerator in Fort Mason in San Francisco. We actually won the accelerators demo day because, as you guys all know, 3D content, VR content is very appealing to the eye in a sea of business to business software products. Oh. So, where did this all begin, right? So, I grew up moving around the world all the time because of my parents' work. I was born in New York, moved to California, to Hong Kong, to Taiwan, and I was just always back and forth between all these places. But there's just always one question that everybody would always ask me. They'd be like, "Will, where are you from?" But when you've lived in a bunch of places for 2 years at a time, home is like one of the hardest questions to ever answer. Um, And so my real home, that I think was my answer to everyone was the internet. The one thing that stuck with me over my entire lifetime were my Minecraft servers that I started up with my friends. It was my Minecraft world. That was my real home. And then some of the subreddits that I'd go on. And then so 5 years ago I entered college. And I was met with this new question again. I was going to New York University, Shanghai. It was a 2-and-2 program between New York and Shanghai. And I knew I was about to enter another 4-year phase of moving around all the time. And so it got me really thinking, could I upgrade like my virtual home, beyond a Minecraft server? And this led me to 3D scanning all of my bedrooms and all of my sentimental objects because, when you're moving every 4 months, you really want to like you have to throw away a lot of stuff, and you always like spend time interior decorating stuff. And so this led me to really keep a lot of like my memories intact with stereoscopic 3D photos, with 360 cameras, and with new technologies such as Gaussian spotting. With stereoscopic cameras, I would take photos of like my POV from like sitting and cramming on my desk, like or I might take some stereoscopic photos of like my dorm and my places, and then I can relive them in virtual reality. Um, and then also like before I throw away an object in a big move, I would 3D scan it. And so now I have like a digital library of all these like virtual objects that are now physically in a landfill, but virtually they're in my phone or like on a hard drive now. And so this led me to create this spectrum. I call it the item possessiveness spectrum. You know, on the very far left, you have physical maximalists. I would call it like hoarders. You know, like from those TLC shows. Um, but on the complete right side of the spectrum, I would call it like a virtual purist. You know, it's like people who live in VR chat all day. They they don't have any physical possessions. They 3D scan everything and put it in a virtual world. And I'd say in the in between are like VR photographers, such as us, like the stereoscopic or like monoscopic 360 camera users who just want to like retain a little better memory of like your lived experiences. And so this is one of the digital mansions that I've created. This is a composite of about 7 of my bedrooms that I've lived in. It's really awesome. It retains all the depth in 6 degrees of freedom. And it is stereoscopic, especially if you wear it in a VR headset. And I can literally walk from my freshman year room all the way to like my senior year apartment in VR through a hallway, just going through all the doors. It's really, really amazing. And the one big catalyst that happened this past year was like after 3D scanning all these things, I got back really into VR photography in my senior year of college. I was helping a friend do a photo shoot for a fashion brand, for a Zimbabwean fashion brand in Shanghai. And we brought a bunch of stereoscopic cameras and 360 cameras to the shoot. Um, my friend wanted to experiment with new kinds of form factors, so of course he came to me. Um, And so, what this one photo shoot really highlighted for us was after the photo shoot, my friend has no exposure to VR photography, no exposure to 360s or stereoscopic. And we were trying to figure out how to like share it with him and how to process the photos, how he can like actually display it on other sites. And this is one big issue that we ran into. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this. It's like stereoscopy and 360 is not very accessible to most people. And then the second big catalyst that made me create this startup was NYU, at least the Shanghai campus, had 3 undergrad classes for VR photography. So these classes covered 360 and stereoscopic 180. Um, and like I think this is a shock to a lot of people I tell in the industry. You know, like they don't see VR photography as like a booming industry, but like an undergrad school, 1,500 students has 3 classes on it, which is honestly really really amazing. And none of these professors ever collaborated with each other. They all just came up with it on their own. And one of the beauties that I realized about VR photography was that it leads to digital immortality. You know, like with the 360 cameras and stereoscopic cameras, you can capture moments of your loved ones and you can revisit them in virtual reality. And so these past 3 like experiences, they're really shaped by my unique experience at NYU Shanghai. Like I'd say the existing camera market of Sony, Nikon, and Canon, they're adopting this new like stereoscopic 360 wave a little too slowly. And if you go to China right now, you'll see 360 cameras running around everywhere. And then also there's a couple other Chinese brands, you know, like there's Kandao, which has the Kucam Ego, you know, where's my camera? It's like they're selling like consumer grade stereoscopic cameras, you know, with two these are not fisheye. The FOV is pretty cool. But they also have a viewer, um, with like mirrors inside as well. And so stereoscopy and 360 is growing a lot more over there because has a relatively new like camera market, and therefore they're able to adopt more leapfrog technologies and completely new like camera paradigms. Because they don't have camera companies, so these camera companies over there can start from scratch. They can make completely new camera bodies for stereoscopy. They can make completely new lenses, and because it's from scratch, like these production lines also can just start from scratch. It's a little harder for Canon or Nikon to take these new bets because they're already very established incumbents. So yeah, and so the stereoscopy 360s led me to realize there's a massive content explosion happening right now. The new iPhone has stereoscopic spatial cameras. A lot of AR glasses are actually coming out with stereoscopic cameras. The VR headsets now shoot in stereoscopic, and then you guys are probably familiar with the Canon dual fisheye. And then also another really awesome thing is these new humanoid robots have real sense stereoscopic cameras. So like this entire world right now is kind of reviving stereoscopy. Okay, I don't want to say reviving because I think it's always been like a thing, but it's getting very, very mainstream now, which is really, really exciting. Um, and then to capture objects really well, some people have taken stereoscopy to like a maximum. It's like they have these multi-camera setups of 80 cameras to get maximum parallax, so you can really understand a subject in 3D. And this is a volumetric capture studio in at Guangzhou HKUST. It's like their Guangzhou campus. And China has about 5 massive volumetric media labs, each with tens of millions of dollars of funding. They do lots of research. These are complete new campuses and research labs dedicated to like this new wave of VR photography and stereoscopy. And they call this new wave spatial intelligence because stereoscopic cameras give you a really good sense of depth. And it's honestly becoming like a new geopolitical battlefield. The Chinese government held a high-level meeting of spatial intelligence back in August to review the country's priorities on like volumetric capture, which is really, really interesting. This is a very underground segment of like this new AI boom right now. But yeah, so with stereoscopic cameras, one thing we learned was that obviously having more cameras eats more battery life, it uses more compute, and overall it creates more weight. And so one thing at BrainTrans we've asked ourselves is like with stereoscopy, can we like simplify it, right? Can we simplify volumetric capture? And so we led to this approach where like this previous slide, we call this outside in. It's a bunch of cameras from the outside and they're facing in at a subject, right? The issue with outside in volumetric capture is that you can't capture a room and it's also not portable. It requires setups of like 20 to 80 cameras, each camera being $1,000. So it's extremely unportable and expensive. And I asked myself, like, what if we want to capture a room, right? And so these new 360 cameras can capture all around. They're like an oracle, all seeing. And so we figured out a way to put them on 3 tripods to capture an entire room volumetrically. And this brings the costs down from like $15,000 down to $1,200. Uses a lot of AI, but this uses multiple cameras in different locations to provide maximum parallax, and you can reconstruct an entire scene volumetrically with only 3 cameras. But then we asked ourselves, can we simplify this even more? Like carrying around 360 cameras is still like very cumbersome. And as you can see, these new kinds of camera platforms are a lot more mobile. You wear AR glasses on your face, these drones are flying in the air, these humanoids are walking around, and these VR headsets are also on people's faces, and like these are the new form factors. It's not going to be carrying around cameras. And so this led to our new like unique approach. We call it like we really focus on monocular one-shot reconstructions. So one constraint that we really found with working with a bunch of AR glasses companies is like a lot of these AR glasses companies actually don't want to do stereoscopic cameras. They only want one camera. Um, they don't want to do stereoscopic cameras on these AR glasses because that's double the amount of heat, that's double the amount of compute, and it's double the amount of battery, and it also adds a lot of weight. And weight is one of the biggest issues with AR glasses now. So these new AR glasses settle on monocular cameras, but a lot of new advances in AI have basically made it so one monocular camera can actually do a lot. It could actually do a lot. So I'm gonna walk you guys through some of these things. So like, yeah, we have monocular one-shot scene reconstruction. You can take a photo with your AR glasses and 3D reconstruct an entire scene. These scenes, because there's 6 degrees of freedom and they're entire 3D worlds, you can put on a VR headset and see entire depth. This next one is we use you take a photo with your glasses and you can create an entire 3D world from it. And these worlds do have they do have stereoscopic depth. If you wear a VR headset, because it projects a left and a right eye to each of your eyes. And then we have
Well,
another one.
you know what? Explain that again. What's happening in the scene? So the original image was on the left,
Yes.
and how was this generated? The one to the right?
So basically, it turns this photo into a 360 panorama, right? And then it uses that 360 panorama, and it AI generates a video from that panorama, and it uses that AI generated video because it extrapolates more frames, right? More frames means you have more parallax, and then you can kind of um, locate and reconstruct an entire scene from that, right?
Now, now the image to the left, the portrait image to the left, is that actually where this began? In other words, with that image, because I see the side of the monitor is still built also. I guess is that built out of AI? Like I can't see it in the image to the left.
Yeah, so yeah, it uses AI, right? Because like if you have one photo, you like you literally can't tell like what is around that, right? Unless you have other context. Um, yeah. The great thing about our monocular approach is because it gets even better when you have two cameras. If you get really good with one camera, then two cameras is 2 times as good, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, like the AI does hallucinate a lot because it genuinely just doesn't know what like the backside looks like, you know. But that's why 360 cameras are great because they're all seeing. You can see everything. So this is a 360 photo turned into a 3D world. This is one of our earlier approaches. And then
What three C what three what
this is an Insta 360 camera.
Gotcha. Insta 360. Thank you.
And then we have another approach. Actually, this one illustrates the video extrapolation a little better. So it's you. This is a photo of my friend from 2000, like 2008. We extrapolate even more frames from it, and then it leads to a scene reconstruction on the right side. And so, as you can see, this leads to like an imitation of stereoscopic photos. This is another one of a one single photo turned into an entire 3D world. So basically, it's 2025. You can turn photos into entire worlds right now. You can take a photo from 1950. You can plug it into our website, and you can walk around the photo. It's going to be kind of amazing.
Kind of amazing, he says. Yeah, I would think so. So you said any photo. In other words, I have a 2D picture.
Yes.
Walk me through that because that's really interesting. What do we put it on you? Just walk me through it.
Yeah. So this 2D photo, we converted to a panorama 360 photo, and then we turn that 360 photo into a 360 video. And then that video is basically using this new technology that was invented in 2023. It's called Gaussian splatting. Um, and it's like this new way of creating like 3D three-dimensional pixels. And it's like the most efficient way to store 3D data these days. And previously, like the other 3D formats were like photogrammetry, but photogrammetry had a bottleneck because it would rely on meshes and vertices, and it would get very, very laggy with big scenes. And so Gaussian splatting resolves a lot of these issues with photogrammetry, and it's unlocking this entire new world. Yeah.
So again, because I'm a little dense, the image to the left started as a regular two-dimensional image shot off a phone.
Yes.
Got it.
This photo is from 2015, so this is 7 years before the invention of Gaussian splatting.
And
Because
and then that gets somehow created. Let me see if I got these steps right. That you turn into a 360.
yes, yes,
And then the next process is you'll have to fill that one in for me. So we got that. It gets turned into by some magic, which I can't even imagine how you're doing it, but I love it. I love when I'm confused. That's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
get high marks for that, man. So okay, get that shot. Now it somehow through a magical incantation, you say, and it turns that into a 360, which is it imagines the rest of this world, right? Or
Yeah.
AI create.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the answer. Good.
Yeah. So obviously these photos get better with more context, right? Like if you show it to the left side of it, it'll make that left side exactly what it looks like. Show the right side of it, it'll show exactly what it looks like. So these models get better with more inputs. I'm showing you guys the bare minimum because I think it's a good place to set expectations because when you set low expectations, anything is way better than that, right? Yeah.
Good, great. We understand, and thank you for saying that. That was a great admission, and we grasp back. Yes, continue, please.
And so, one thing that I really loved, what I initially hated, right? Initially, I hated that these glasses companies would not put stereoscopic vision or cameras in their glasses. But honestly, when there's constraints, there's innovation. And so we realized if we wanted stereoscopic cameras, if we wanted to be able to take stereoscopic photos on AR glasses, which I think would be the best new like modality to take stereoscopic photos, we realized we have to figure out a way to make stereoscopic capture possible on that one camera. And so this is our new little workflow. You can yeah, we're gonna be making this public on our site actually very soon, where anyone can just put a photo. But we realized like okay, you could take a photo now. We do this thing called depth mapping, which is a technology that comes from autonomous cars and computer vision. Um, and so we use this autonomous car technology to understand what is the depth. And then what we do is then we do a pixel shift. We shift the pixels to the left a bit and to the right a bit, and you get a left eye photo and you get a right eye photo. And then from that, we composite into a left and right eye side by side photo. And we have a web viewer so people can see stereoscopic photos in 3D if you don't have glasses. And then we also have one we can look at it with like red, blue 3D glasses. You can also look at this in a VR headset. So our entire mission at Brain Trance is basically, can we make all these new kinds of VR photos more accessible to everyone, easier to capture by everyone, and also viewable by everyone? That's the hard thing that we're trying to do. And so this is our attempt at it. And so, like as you can see, it kind of wiggles. Actually, we also have wigglegrams on our website as well. If you guys have those cameras with like 2 to 4 cameras on them, we have wigglegrams as well.
So just to get one more time, the the 2D picture, 360, and then the depth map created from that three.
So this is a completely different workflow than the previous slide.
Gotcha, my friend. Sorry.
Yeah,
Continue, Will.
I know it can be a little. We do a lot of stuff, so it can get yeah. But yeah, this is really great. For yeah, taking stereoscopic photos now. And so just the vision of our website is like we're trying to make the platform to curate, share, and experience all sorts of like VR photos. This includes volumetric photos. It includes VR like 3D stereoscopic photos. I think it's really great that there's all these new kinds of cameras coming out. Our mission is to be the place where all these cycle through and then get spit out on all these other platforms, all these new other kinds of modalities, because these AR glasses are awesome. You can take a stereoscopic photo with them, and then you can also view the stereoscopic photo in them. And then also like we do a lot of experimentation with like remixing these formats together, like blending a stereoscopic photo with a 360 photo or like a volumetric photo. You can blend them together and you can link them together with hotspots to create tours as well. And so this is what our website looks like right now. We're going for like a YouTube kind of layout. On the left side and on the right side is our app. Our app right now does not have stereoscopic photo feature on it right now, but we're going to be doing that in this next week. And so the current content of our website right now is these like massive drone scans of entire college campuses. We have really high quality macro scans of like little plants. We have like interior real estate, and also like life memories, which is like where this all began. I wanted a much better way to remember my life. I'm a very sentimental person. Um, and so like why is this happening now? Like why is this happening now? So basically all these autonomous vehicles and all these robots over the past like 20 years, all of Google's self-driving cars, those cars needed a way to understand the world. And to understand the world, you basically need to like almost reconstruct it for how it is. Um, it's this technology has reached an inflection point in this past year or two. And we think it's ready for consumer adoption. I think a lot of this technology should be shared with the everyday person. And I think life memories are probably like the most relatable moment for everyone on this planet. Um, then you have the second catalyst, which is like there's so many new cameras coming out now. Like previously, like I'd say like cameras were like a almost like a perfected technology. Like every new iPhone that came out, everybody was like, "What's the point of the new iPhone? Like the camera's the exact same as the previous one." And that saying's been the same for like the past 5 years. Apple hasn't really been changing the new cameras. But where the next innovation in camera technology is? It's in stereoscopic and VR cameras, I think. And so now you have all these new companies taking these massive bets on these new kinds of camera technologies, and it's leading to all these new formats. So these new formats are also very exciting for us because it can lead to a lot of new kinds of content. And then also like VR media is starting to seep into like everyday like people. Like I scroll my Instagram feed sometimes and I see people just posting stereoscopic photos on Instagram, or well they post flattened versions of them because Instagram doesn't support it, right? They also post like flattened versions of 360 photos, and then also like there's so many AR glasses brands right now. I can name like 10 in San Francisco off the top of my head. Um, yeah, and yeah, there's all these new kinds of AR glasses, and they need a platform to share to. They don't. A lot of these cameras are shipping without. A lot of these glasses are shipping without gallery apps or camera apps on them. Like if you have an AR if you have AR glasses, there's only like three things you can do on them. It's like capture photos, like hear stuff through the speaker, or like talk to it with a microphone. And the fact that they don't have a camera capture app is kind of crazy, but like we're building that kind of distribution and capability for them. And then the other thing is like these new kinds of stereoscopic photos and spatial cameras are completely winning the mandate on all these new like mega cap billion-dollar companies and their hardware. Like the iPhone is really going into like stereoscopic and spatial cameras now. And I think it's a really big inflection point for like stereoscopic content. And then like these new VR headsets, they're also pushing it out. Like the new Galaxy Samsung XR headset, they had a whole 15-second segment on like these 3D stereoscopic photos. Like and they're really trying to push this out to everyone. And so like what's next, right? So like right now, I think a website is accessible, but right now I think mobile apps are even more accessible. And so we're building an app to make all this content capture more available to everyone. We're trying to make it relatable to Gen Z. So we have a team of content creators right now just making content about these new VR photos to everybody. The internet really likes it. We're going for like a meme angle because I think memes are the best way right now to distribute technology to the world by making it funny. And we also have a 40 Gaussian slot web viewer as well. I guess our main call to action is that we're hiring engineers and growth journalists. So yeah. Um,
So, could you explain the 4D Gaussian splat web viewer?
yeah. So Gaussian splats right now. So they're like, yeah, as I said before, they're like the new way to store 3D data, right?
Oh,
Um,
yeah, okay, new. Okay, so that's an
oh,
interesting
oh.
explanation of the jargon, right? A Gaussian splat is a new way of storing stereoscopic data or data.
or just like 3D data in general. Yeah, like because you're constructing an entire scene in 3D, you can't see it in a VR headset, and it does project left and right yeah. But so a 4D Gaussian spot web viewer is like 3D is just a point in time, right? 4D is at the dimension of time, so it's a video. Um, right now, to watch video Gaussian splats, you have to download software on your computer, and you need a pretty good computer to watch it. It's like downloading VLC or QuickTime in the 2000s to watch a video, right? Like it's 2025. Like YouTube's been around for 20 years at this point. Like, why do you have to download software to watch videos anymore? So we created the first web viewer in the US to like watch Gaussian spot videos. Um, yeah. So the industry right now is still in VLC QuickTime. We're trying to bring it up to YouTube levels now. So yeah.
Okay, well, is that the last slide?
Yes.
Okay, great. You can stop sharing.
Cool.
Oh, there we go. A couple of quick questions. Now, you have taken photographs with the 3D camera. Are you right? Do you have a regular 3D camera?
I have. This is what I use right now.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. I also use this.
And those are the two cameras. Did you shoot with anything before that? How did you begin the experience of 3D? That's my thinking.
It was a Google Cardboard. I would watch side by side videos in Google Cardboard, and then actually this bad boy right here. So this actually has like 6 cameras on it. There's a camera here, there's a camera here, there's a camera here, and there's a camera here. So actually, back in Shanghai, I used to literally just wear this around town, and I would just always be recording. And I actually walked a fashion show with this on, and I have it entirely in stereoscopic video. It's really amazing from my own point of view. That's what's really awesome about these new headsets. You can have a stereoscopic camera on your face, and it can literally record from like what your eyes are seeing, which is really awesome.
Yeah, I've noticed that because I have stories. The Ray-Ban Meta thing.
Yeah.
And I noticed the images that I shoot with it are very compelling because I'm not holding up a camera.
Yeah.
I'm staring at the subject. If I'm looking at you, I'm really looking at you. So it's way different than if I'm holding a camera and shooting. And the experience, I think, of the other person's expression also changes a lot. Some of the most compelling images I have are actually because they're staring right at me, and you got my point. Now, on one side that has that's like one was shooting a depth map, right, and the other shooting the actual 2D image.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, my biggest gripe with this is like it shoots flat photos. Like come on, there's 2 cameras here. Like, why don't we just shoot stereoscopic photos?
When I first got it, I sent it back for that reason because I was thinking, man, how do you hold your head? I initially thought that there were 2 cameras, but then I realized. Then I contacted. I sent in an email to Ray-Ban, and they went. I said, "Where's the other camera?" They said, "Send him back." They just sent him back. They didn't answer the question. They said, "We'll give you a refund," but that was not my question. It doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
at every level, it's confusing, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, they weigh a ton, and you're tied into the meta universe, which is painful at best. It's just painful.
Yeah.
Painful. You really got to be determined to use those. But now, so that you shot with the VR goggles, and you also shot with that other camera you brought up. But those are the two that nothing before that.
Yeah, nothing before that.
Now, how did you get before that? How did you experience 3D? Just movies? I mean,
I just use a normal VR headset, like a Quest, like a Meta Quest.
oh, Quest. So okay, I'm going to go back pre-Quest. So before Quest, how were you seeing? Where were you experiencing just movies?
Okay, well, like it really started. Google Cardboard was I got my parents got me a Google Cardboard when I was in, I would say, fourth grade. Like I was like 9 years old, 10 years old back then. That was my first time. Actually, no, even before that was those stereoscopic things that you can put like a slide in. That was like in preschool, I'd say. I think I got them in like a McDonald's like kids meal or something. Like
The McDonald's brought you into the fold. I love it. Now, did you ever have a ViewMaster?
no, I didn't. I never.
Oh, you deprived child, you. No, it's fascinating. Okay, so that would be McDonald's, the cardboard, right? Google Cardboard.
Yeah.
You
And
are
then
a curious fellow.
yeah. And then after that was the HTC Vive. It's HTC and the Steam one, and then it was the Quest, and then it was Vision Pro, and then now it's all these because like these are new. This came out like a year or two ago, and they're
Yep.
continuing making new ones. So
Half the people on this program have those, probably more than that.
okay.
So yeah, it's because you have a large variety of folks that shoot 3D, and that's why I was just wondering what got you into it. So you were really like 8 or 9 years old is really when you started to have a curiosity, right?
This is like 2012, 2013, I would say. Yeah.
Don't punish me with that because I'm a little older than you. It's painful. Anyway, so your curiosity led you in. What was it? Trying to figure out why that worked at all? Was
Honestly, at the start, like I didn't like I just did it because I was a consumer, right? And then like I guess around middle school, high school, I started developing AR, VR like video games. But then like I guess like the interest in VR photography really started when I was in China this past like year and a half, 2 years. Because I just like I always knew these things existed, but then like suddenly like everybody's running around with these, you know. I'm like, okay, like why is everyone running around with this? Like got my curiosity. I wanted to investigate a little deeper. Um, and then like it was just like one after another, and then like the VR film classes, you know, and I was the TA for them, and I was like, wait, this thing that's like was like in my head was nothing before is like suddenly everywhere, you know. It's like okay, like this is obviously something that's not gonna like there's momentum, you know, and I like to go where the ball's moving, you know, and I want to go where the momentum's going, and I think this is a very interesting industry, and then like the world, you know, like in my head, everything's being disrupted right now. You know, like if something hasn't changed in 20 years, it'll probably change in the next 5 years. And like cameras, you know, like they've been relatively the same for a long time. And it makes a lot of sense to me that a lot of people want to disrupt that market now. And it's probably going to be stereoscopic or 360 cameras.
and the picture with your grandfather there was some effect that had on you, right?
Yeah,
On
exactly. It's like it's really awesome to be able to look back at on it in a VR headset and just like feel all that presence. And actually, what I do to elevate it even more is like I'll put like whenever I take a stereoscopic photo, I'll just set the voice memo app on a table like while I take the photo. And I'll
ah,
record 30 seconds of like ambient sound, and it adds a lot of elevation to it.
so to go back on that again, you're basically recording some audio while you're taking that 3D image.
Yeah, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and so we're actually on our site. We're adding a thing where people can also add their own clips to a stereoscopic photo, um, and like you can hear like the humming of the air conditioner or like people walking down the hallway, but it adds like so much more to it, you know. Um,
You know, when I used to shoot, I don't have to brought it up already. When by being in that experience, you understand the image from a different point. In other words, a completely different point of view. I meant, and that's the wrong description. Uh, Emotionally, you feel the difference
yeah,
because I know for a while when I would shoot with a 2D picture, it's my experience anyway. Shoot with a 2D picture, get it converted. I relate to that 3D picture in a different way than you would
yeah,
because I was at that experience. I smelled it. I was there. Everything, the sounds, are somehow stored in the noggin, right? Uh, and that really pulls them out by even though it's and someone else will look at the conversion and go, well, you know, it's not really that great or whatever. But my experience is I am I'm emotionally tied to that, for want of a better description, to that image.
yeah.
Is your grandpa still around?
He's not, which is yeah, he's not sadly, but I luckily captured him in a lot of VR footage. There's probably like over 100 gigabytes of it. So
what a what a fortunate family.
yeah,
What a wonderful thing to do, man.
yeah.
You've endeared yourself to me tremendously. But where are you living in California now?
I'm in San Francisco right now.
Yep. And so you were born in New York?
I was born in New York, yeah, and I grew up between SF, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Yeah.
How big is a team do you have right now working on all this?
We have 4 engineers and we have 5 people working on marketing. Yeah. They're
Now,
all the marketing is all like I don't know if you guys will relate to the marketing, but we're going for a very viral like meme angle to it because I think that's the best way to they call it memetics, you know, memes are the best way to distribute information and knowledge.
memetics.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're filling me up with jargon, and I do appreciate it very much. You know,
It's, yeah,
a Gaussian splat. I thought that I had a whole different idea what that might be, but I would have defined it that way. But really, I got a ton of jargon you're leaving with me. Wow. So what is the next move? Can people experiment with this on that website?
yeah. So right now we have all these things available. We have these tools, but they're in a closed beta. Right now, we're trying to polish them a little more so everyone can just use it right now. Right now, to use like these converters, these like 2D to like 3D conversions, you have to be waitlisted or you have to be whitelisted. So you just have to make an account and send me your username, and I'll add you to the whitelist. Um, it's like we do that because it's the stuff is a little buggy sometimes. We're working on optimizing it, and but it works. It works perfectly for me. So I'm trying to make it work perfectly for everyone else right now. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is hold on a second. Sorry, I had a burp on my system here. Oops. Again, since I'm running this out of where I normally do. But you were such an interesting subject. I did not want to delay you. I thought you were. Certainly, I'm going to thank Jay. How did you bump into Jay, by the way?
Jay signed up on our website, and he signed up on our website months ago when it was very very buggy, and he's uploading stuff to our thing, and I was exchanging emails with him because I was trying to iterate on his feedback. I was trying to make the experience really good for him. And then yeah.
So, are there any instructions or how to use the website?
You guys should be able to just drag and drop your stereoscopic photos, and it should just project well. Um, yeah.
And what is the what occurs at that point? If I put in let's follow through that because I'm sure people are going to want to do that. So they upload the stereo image, and th- then is there your software to continue the conversation before? I might have had it wrong, but does it then create a 360 world?
You have to explicitly like convert it to that. Where you because like I don't think anyone just wants their stuff just converted to 3D world. Like maybe they just want to look at it and it's like it's normal glory, right? But we're gonna have like a button where you can just be like convert, convert, convert. Yeah, actually, yeah. So like one of the whole upload process is like one of our
Hey,
cool things.
I got an idea. I'm going to cut you off, William, but could you have a sharing ability? Could you do that now live? Could you like go on something and just show the process and walk it through?
Yeah, actually.
And then we're going to go into the after party because there's going to be people that want to talk to you about this. But just that one last step, fellas. If you could stick with me a little bit longer, and you're going to get a chance to talk to William.
Okay, so maybe you guys are familiar with this one. This 1901 serigraph photo.
Hmm.
So this. So this is a steering graph. Left, right eye. You can wiggle it, or you can steer. You can do the RGB thing. Or if you have a VR headset, you can literally press this button on the top right. So like yeah, we did a website right now because the entire VR ecosystem has like 10 different operating systems, like we were thinking about making an app for these, but then we're like, okay, like we don't know which operating system or ecosystem is going to win in the end. Is it going to be Meta? Is it going to be Google? Is it going to be Apple? Is it going to be Horizon OS, Yoda OS, like Mentor OS? Like so we built a like our website because the website works on everything. It works on a phone, it works on every single VR headset it works on VR headsets with operating systems on them. Yeah, and it works on your computer too, and then also like yeah, we did a website too, and then our upload process is one of our like glories because I don't know if you guys are familiar with like some other sites, but like when you normally upload stereographic or like all these VR file types, you have like a drop down list of like, oh, like pick which camera you took this photo on, or like pick the projection type. I always saw that as a massive barrier to entry. Like if I sent this to my mom and she were to upload it on another site, like would she know which camera it was taken on? Would she know how to project it? Is it like top down? Is it side by side or something like that? And so we basically our whole thing was like it should just be as simple as dragging and dropping, and it just you can see it. You shouldn't have to do any drop downs. And so the way that we did this is we have a computer vision model. We have an AI that looks at the photo and it's like, okay, it looks like this. So we should project it like this. Um, and so like we're continuously fine tuning it because there's always some new niche format that we need to teach our algorithm to like know how to project it. So like if you guys upload a very niche format right now, there's a chance that it might not project well, but it'll take us a day to just teach it and then it'll learn. Yeah.
Do me a favor, if you don't mind, just one more thing. If you could just, because we'll quit at 4, but we'll send you over to the after party at that point. But do that one more time, because maybe I misunderstood something. I won't ask any questions while you do what you just did. Do
Oh,
just example one more time. Thank you.
yeah, so like this one, you just drag and drop. This photo is it's just like a left
Okay,
right,
left, right. Yep, yep.
and then the projection in the preview is a work in progress, but it'll fix when you post it. So we'll just call this like 1901 stereo graph. You can choose to have it public on the discovery. You can have it unlisted so it only appears on your profile, or you can completely private it and it's not viewable. So unlisted, you could share the link with someone else. They can see it, but it won't show up on our discovery. And then we have a way to like make albums. So you could be like old photos. You can
So
upload to
so
old photos.
so maybe I misunderstood something. So okay, now so that took the left and right image and turned it into that, which is looks like a 2D a wiggle. Okay, it's wiggling on this side, didn't wiggle on my main line, my main computer. Because there are things that'll do that now that'll convert from they'll allow you to convert to different formats. But how is this unique? Explain that. It's obviously something, and I'm not catching it, but that's not unusual.
So I think why we're unique is that we're focused on simplicity and just like making it as usable as every other like social sharing platform. You know, like other social sharing platforms, uh, like you can just drag and drop. You know, I think that's one of the things. And then the other thing is like we're trying to make the capture of this very accessible to everyone. You know, and kind of like make consolidating all these new kinds of cameras and headsets and phones into one just place that everything just works together.
Well, this is my last question, 100%, because I want to get this into the after party, and I'm sure Jim is chomping at the bit, and Dorothy, and everybody's got questions for you. So, um, so just, can you take that? You know how that you moved around the room, our first one that you showed, where you
Yeah.
had that one shot of the guy with the computer, and then you were able to move around the room in video. Are you able to do that with an image like this?
Yeah.
Simple answer.
Yeah,
Can you do it, or is it going to take an hour?
it might take like 30 seconds. Okay, so
Oh,
we don't have a way to process stereographs right now, but I could just take the left half of it and then just drop it in here. Yeah. Live demo. This is a little tricky. We'll see if this works.
oh yeah, I know, man. Hey,
I think it'll work. I think it'll work.
we'll do that, and we'll get into the after party, and I'm sure that will solve it. But yeah, if it doesn't work, we understand. Trust me.
It's
We
a
all
so,
we all live on Murphy's Law here. You're preaching the choir with us, but go ahead.
yeah. I think this might look a little weird in the
That's
generation.
okay. It's okay,
It's
man.
very fuzzy. It's a very old photograph.
Doesn't matter.
We've never tested the depth perception on like a black and white photo before.
Even better.
Yeah. Let's test this. Let's see this.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And we're willing to forgive you. Don't if you
Yeah.
you have what there's like 50 people here. 49 of them are experimenters, so you're not gonna you get all the slack cut you could ever want in your life. Trust me, nobody's gonna accuse it for not working. But I'm curious if you can get it to work, even more so, even
It
better.
was working last night. I was demoing this at a party last night where, okay, cool. Let's see it. The quality is something we're always fine tuning.
No worries, man.
This, 1901 stereo graph world. Please work. Please work. Uh, cool. So it turned this photo into a mattress, like a furniture store. I see the original photo right here.
Yeah, man.
And then it's almost like the AI like hallucinating into a furniture store.
Uh,
Yeah.
but that's cool. That's cool. No, I'm not. I'm. I get it, and so does everybody who's watching. As this refines, as it gets more and more refined, yeah.
So So we're actually going to plug in a new model later this week, and it's going to fix all these infilling issues, these empty white spots. It's gonna predict what it thinks the backsides of it looks like, and this should be out within the next week or two. Yeah.
Listen, William Ye, you're an honest guy. And to go through this right now, I appreciate it very much. I realize it was not perfect. No problem at all, man. The fact that you even showed us and explained that goes a long way. You're an honorable guy. Thank you. I know that's tough to do. All of a sudden, I dropped that one on you.
I love a test. I love a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, me too. What, you don't even sweat. This crowd is everyone. If everybody's into 3D, they have to be into experimenting. You got no choice. I mean, that's it. Just the reality of it, or the virtual reality of it. Look, you were William. You were fantastic. I appreciate it very much. We're going to move into the after party in a moment. Thank you, thank you. We can unspotlight William if you please. You can even unspot me if you like. And I will begin. There we go. So, this part of the program has come to an end. Now we change gears and head off to the after party where great minds meet. And a big thanks to the brave and curious and, as it turns out, young. I won't hold that against you. Uh, William Ye, thank you, man. You were a great guest, and I'm sure you're going to get some good questions. And thanks to our amazing crew for making this all possible. Stereo Doro, Jake Kuznets, who wrangled in William. He's been doing a good job at wrangling people in. If anybody has anybody, if you find someone that's interesting, send them to us, and we'll annoy them as much as we annoyed William. um, Again, thanks to our amazing crew for making this all possible. Stereo Doro, Jay Kuznets, Jim Harp, Joe Pedotto, Paul Hutchins, of course, Herb Weiner, and last but not least, you for stopping by to see what you've been missing in 3D. We're going to head out and into the after party, and I'll see you again in a little while. See you guys later.
Hello, everyone. We'll unmute all your mics or give you the option to mute in a minute. William, thanks so you're able to stick around a little bit and chat further.
Yes, yes.
We appreciate that. I had one question, which I think you kind of answered as you were demonstrating your ability to convert a photo into volumetric, where you can actually walk around it. If that algorithm takes advantage or is able to take input from a stereoscopic photo. In other words, you're obviously creating a depth map am I correct that the depth map is part of the process of making the volumetric
Yes.
image? Are you able to, or are you interested? Obviously, you're currently not using the stereoscopic pair to generate that information. Is that something that might ultimately be part of such an algorithm, or is it make more sense just to go with one monoscopic image and then let the AI take it from there?
So yeah, that's on our roadmap right now. Honestly, like making a stereoscopic input should probably take like 4 hours for us to do. Like I could do that like probably after this meeting. Um, it's like, and it's gonna make the quality so much better because now like monocular depth is good, but stereoscopic binocular depth is way better, and it's gonna make the output way better. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course you have interesting artifacts with these older stereo cards where very often the brightness is different from one side to another. There's often dodging and burning issues, which not so much an issue if you're dealing with contemporary stereoscopic imagery from something like a CooCam. But one thing I've always thought would be such a fascinating application would be to take some of the old stereo cards um, and turn them into volumetric. Make some of these vintage stereo cards, and they go back, as you might know. There's like an amazing set of stereo cards shot during the Civil War. There's
Yeah.
some incredible records of the world in the late 19th century, and to turn those into volumetric experiences would be a very powerful adaptation of the technology. But yeah, so your depth. I guess there is already technology to create a depth map from a stereoscopic pair.
Mhm.
So I imagine that you'd be using something like that to continue this. And
Yeah.
Dorothy had a good question. I hope I can find it. And Dorothy,
Yeah.
feel free to chime in if you want to come
Yeah.
on. Just asking if are we able to get when you're doing these taking a 2D photo and sort of creating a wigglegram out of it, are you able to export? Do you use the MPO format or any other stereoscopic? Can we get a side-by-side pair from a converted image?
Um, Actually, we haven't thought about that, but yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do that.
we could see, that's obviously the sort of thing we do a lot around here.
And to your previous point, like I grew up watching sci-fi. You talk about time travel all the time. I think like being able to 3D reconstruct a Civil War photo
Mhm.
is the closest you can get to time travel.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
it's already the feeling a lot of us get looking at stereoscopic cards is that you are, in a sense, traveling through time. So to be able to add a volumetric component to that.
And then what's even better is we have in our R&D lab behind me, we're making a way where you can actually extrapolate that photo into a whole volumetric video. So you could go back to that Civil War like volumetric photo, and then you can actually just like see the people walking around and stuff. So
So I imagine this is using some AI, some neural network processing to basically guess at a lot of this additional information that's needed to go from a stereoscopic or a mono image into a volumetric.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
you're taking advantage of hopefully AI being able to make intelligent guesses about what else would have been in that scene.
yes, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was fascinating that your I guess, decided this was a furniture store where this woman was looking at the stereo card in 1901.
Yeah, it defaults a lot of stuff to like mattress stores or furniture stores,
Mhm.
which is really weird right now.
It might be something it trained on that it sees furniture and that's where it's training. That's what we encounter with this is like, what did it train on?
But it's kind of funny, you know. It's like you'll see a photo, a stereo photo of like George Washington, but he's in a furniture store, like a mattress firm, or something.
So another question I had, you use the term VR photography. I'm just kind of curious what your definition of that. Does that mean VR 180 plus is a 360, a regular 360 something you consider VR? Some of us consider if it's not 3D 360, it's not VR because we have two eyes, if you know what I mean.
I would say like I use VR photography or immersive photography interchangeably. I see it as like a photograph that lets you immerse into a place and make you feel like you're there. Like a normal photo doesn't really do that. I mean, you're like staring at a wall, right? But like even a 360, yeah, it doesn't have depth, but like it still feels like you're in there, like into some aspect. It could be improved on for sure.
You think ultimately you're going to need to have some volumetric level for it to really be a VR photo. In other words, that you can, even if you can't walk around it, you can at least move around a little bit if you shift your head and the
Yeah,
scene is interacting with you. Is that going to be part of what makes a photo VR?
100%, 100%.
Have you seen the VR app Wander? It's a Quest. It's on the Quest. It's called Wander, and it's basically just creates VR panoramas of various scenes. And you can't walk through them, but you can kind of shift around a little bit, and it is quite astonishing.
Yeah, I've seen it. Those apps are very amazing. Those people are working on really awesome stuff.
So you're kind of working in similar directions, but only hopefully letting us take our own input to create results like that. Am I understanding part of what you're shooting for?
So our mission is like I think a lot of these other platforms they don't innovate fast enough. I don't think they ship stuff and let people use it fast enough. So one thing we're trying to do is like just like even if it's a half baked version, we're gonna improve on it, but like let everybody use it as soon as possible. You know? Yeah.
Okay, and anyone else? I think our audience can unmute themselves. I tried to set that up. Feel free if anyone wants to come up with questions. It's really quite quite fascinating. Just the whole idea of, as you're saying, capturing memories in this volumetric. I mean, I have lots of questions, but I don't want to hog it if anyone else. Another thing I was curious about, you're showing demonstrating some volumetric conversions, and I did notice artifacts. For example, there's a picture of you sitting at a computer desk. As we move around, we sort of see lines as the AI didn't quite understand where your head ended, so it was kind of creating sort of like lines that went into the distance. Are you able at this time to edit that stuff, or is that another level of complexity? In other words, to be able to go in and fix that and say, oh no, I don't actually have lines coming out of me. My head is here. I don't know if you would need something like Unity or a 3D editing software,
Yeah.
volumetric editing software to be able to correct
So
something like that.
so the actual awesome thing is that we have a web editor for it.
No kidding. So you can actually edit these within the web from online.
Yeah, yeah, on our website, all on our website. And like the thing is also like those lines are all just gonna be fixed in the next week or two. Like we had a breakthrough this past week, and like like these lines you won't even be an editing issue. We had a massive breakthrough, and we're working on shipping it out in the next week or two, and it should fix all those line issues. It should fix a lot of the artifacting as well.
So is your, at least for the time being, is sort of your goal to create this very powerful website where users can go on and take advantage of these tools? Is that an understanding of like what you're, what you're shooting to do as your output? Is it going to be, or is it more providing these services to other users who might be creating content for VR headsets or for AR glasses or that sort of thing?
So we started off as like just a place where people can just share these things, right? I want to do community service, make it more accessible. I think these formats are amazing. I would love to see more people in the world use them. And then ultimately we're going really into the video versions of all these, especially like video conversions, because yeah, one thing that we really want is that you can just input a video and you get a complete 3D or four dimensional video reconstruction of it. And like I think that's the real power, because then you can put in the old Star Wars movies and literally walk around like the lightsaber fighting scenes, or like one of the things that we're experimenting with is reconstructing the entire Millennium Falcon from just the movie scenes, and then you can be in the, like, let's say Luke Skywalker is like doing the training thing in the game room, but you can go hang out in the pilot, you can go hang out in the cockpit, and then like maybe like they walk into the room, in the exact scene. Yeah.
And so when you have something like that, you're kind of describing it's not a video. I mean, you couldn't have an MP4 video file do this because you're talking about volumetric real-time information. Is this, how do you save something like that? Is a Gaussian splat video what the ultimate? I mean, I don't even, and I thought I was knowledgeable about this, but I know you can make an app for an Oculus Quest that does what you're describing. But let's say hypothetically you get your Millennium Falcon volumetric, real, interactive environment where I can walk around and see Luke training and I can go to the cockpit. What format is that saved in? Is it a web app?
It's
Is there going to be a new format to save that sort of thing into?
So right now there's no format. There's no
Yeah.
format. One of the things we're working towards is making that format. Right now it's basically a zip file of all the frames. So that's not a format at all, right? It's basically like that's like a zip file of a bunch of JPEGs and then like trying to make a video out of that, right? There's no format. We're trying to take it step by step. Like we're trying to do a lot with a very small team.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, it's just like that's on a roadmap. Like first of all, we want to just let people look at it on our website, and then from there on, we'll work on the format stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This might not be the sort of thing you're shooting to do, but you might be familiar with DOVR, which is a nice platform that on your VR headset you can go and look at VR 180 videos and 360 videos.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be
know
quite
that.
exciting if someday there was a similar platform, if you have a VR headset or a Galaxy X XR or whatever it is, that you could put it on and look at the sort of thing you're creating. In other words, you're not just looking at a VR 180 video, but you're actually getting into a volumetric environment. You can walk around and you can interact with obviously a lot higher bandwidth than a VR 180 video.
Yeah, so like that's exactly like what this site's gonna be. It's gonna be like a YouTube for all volumetric photo and video.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So conceivably, we could use the browser on our, whether it's a Galaxy XR, the Apple Vision, whatever. We could go to the web browser, get to your website, and then within that VR environment on the headset, be able to access
yeah, it
these
works.
experiences.
Yeah, it works entirely. Yeah, that's like yeah, that's the use case. Yeah, and then it works on every headset. Okay, I saw a comment earlier about the Viture XR Pros. The Viture glasses don't have their own operating system because our whole thing functions on like a browser in the headset or glasses. Um, and
Yeah, I mean,
so
they're monitors, basically. In other words, they're just another form of a monitor. They're not really
the
anything
monitor
other than that,
glasses
are
don't
they?
work on this because the your desktop doesn't have a way to stream it to the monitor glasses. But then like glasses like these ones, they have their own compute. They have their own computer on them, and it works on these.
Which
And
ones are those?
they're the Rokids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and they have their own little device. And yeah, I'm a big X-Reel
Yeah,
user.
X real. This works on X real.
With the Beam Pro. A lot of us use the Beam Pro because it's a pretty nice stereoscopic camera video capture device.
Yeah.
I don't know if that little uh, Beam Pro is powerful enough to do volumetric experience. And of course, those glasses have such a limited field of view that it's kind of funny. I have played VR 180 videos on them, but it's kind of silly because you're looking at VR 180 video through this tiny little window that you then look around. It
So
does have the ability to show those, but in this very strange.
our volumetric stuff works on those glasses. Yeah, you can look at them and you just share a link, works everything. So
What do you think about you'd mentioned that there's these different operating systems. Apple, I guess, has its spatial, do they call it spatial OS?
Vision OS.
Um, we have Android XR. I mean, do you see any of these as showing more promise than the other? Is there anything that seems to be, meeting the needs? Because I do get the feeling that a lot of people are trying to get something ready for what will ultimately replace our smartphones with just something we wear or something, we don't have phones, we have glasses.
Honestly, it is a crazy. It's a bloodbath right now with these OSs. Like the US alone has like I have friends making OSs for these things also. Like so many people, like it's everything's up in the air right now. I think it's like too hard to conclude. I think Vision OS will definitely have staying power because they're Apple, but like all these other ones like Horizon OS, Android XR, and then like China alone has like 15 like AR VR OSs, and like who knows? Like one of them might actually make their way over to the US. We'll never know. Because some of them are very, very good right now. So I think everything's up in the air. And it'll be very exciting to see like what will end up being having the staying power. But like as for now, like we want to hedge our bets. We're gonna be web-based for the VR headsets for now because it just works on everything.
So if say, for example, if I had a Galaxy XR or the Apple Vision Pro, would I be able to go to your website and look at some content? Is that working right now with those
Yeah,
devices?
yeah, yeah, it works.
Great. I'm curious, have you played with the Galaxy XR? That's the fairly new headset Samsung has just come out.
I've not. I've
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I haven't been able to get my hands on one. I'm very, very curious about it. I'm just going to mention that we have in the chat our straw poll. We had so much interesting content here that we didn't really get to our caption this polling, but it's in the chat. Please feel free to go on and vote, and we'll before we're done here. Let's see. Anyone else, if you want to put captions in the chat or questions in the chat, um, or
There was William Walters who wanted to ask a question. I think you can
yeah,
unmute
please.
now.
Hopefully you can unmute. Yeah, because I've asked all mine. Thank you very much for letting me do a little post interview. That's all fascinating stuff, and we're really interested in your website. But yeah, anyone else, please. We got a couple more minutes.
Okay. Can you hear me? I'd like to
Yeah.
ask a question about the workflow. Can you tell us what models you're using for some of the 2D to 3D conversion, the depth mapping?
I mean, the depth mapping is like depth to anything. It's a very standard model right now. Yeah. And then we do our own like in-house like visualizations and like touch-ups on that.
And what would you recommend for an input device if you were going to tell your users this is what works the best? What would that be today, knowing that it changes every hour?
I would say a 360 camera because like those 2D photos are great, but the thing is it does not know what's like everywhere around, and like a 360 photo like is all seeing, right? It has ultimately like we want to be a startup that's based in reality. I think there's so much AI generated stuff on the internet right now. I want to make a platform that's like we just capture reality and like as it is so people don't feel like they're being gaslit by like a platform. And like a 360 camera will lead to the least amount of hallucinations out of every single camera format.
Is there any 3D camera, 360 camera you'd recommend?
I would say the Insta360 or the DJI Osmo 360.
Now, if you played at all with the 3D 360 cameras, Insta360, and I guess KuCam has also had some of those. There's the Insta360 Pro 2. Do you find that stereoscopic capture is useful, or do you feel you're better off with just a single monoscopic 360 that can then be, converted, adapted, or whatever?
Okay, so for the Insta360 Pro 2, I've only used it for 360 capture. I've actually never experimented with its stereoscopic thing. I know it's possible. Um, yeah, I think like one thing we want to do also is maybe add more depth to the 360 photos. I mean, like if we can already make them stereoscopic, then like I guess it's not that hard for us to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and another application I can see of the technology you're doing is there's a lot of these. For example, you mentioned the iPhone. does stereoscopic capture, but with a very narrow interocular. These two lenses are right next to each other, and they're not always doing that great of a job. I think there's a lot of potential for being able to enhance what comes out of something like an iPhone spatial capture and turn it into maybe uh, effectively a wider interocular, or maybe fix some of the issues with the telephoto lens not having a good depth of field. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're seeing a lot of people starting to get opportunities to do stereoscopic capture, but it is very nice to see some options to maybe make that better. The results that come out of that
Yeah.
at a higher quality.
We got to make it at least 60 millimeters of spacing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Although, I mean, it's funny. I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I do a lot of spatial shooting with it. And I've just developed the habit. Anytime I'm shooting with it, I'm always within a foot or two of my subject. I just only shoot things that are close up because it's pretty useless. Otherwise, it doesn't. If you're shooting a landscape, you're not really getting much
Yeah.
information out of it.
So for our website right now, we do support spatial photos. The thing is, Safari squashes spatial photo uploads to the browser. It squashes it into a JPEG. So that's why we built an app, because honestly, like it's the only way to upload a spatial photo to our website is you have to save it to the Files app and then upload it from the Files app, because otherwise Safari will squash it into a JPEG. So we're gonna enable spatial photo uploads through our app. And that'll be much easier. Yeah. And then, so like, you'll be able to upload a spatial photo to the app and then just like see it on your Vision Pro, on your Quest, on your X Reels, on your Rokids, because it'll just appear on the website and you can just go to that link on the website. So
That's going to be very valuable just because there is right now this very annoying tendency, Apple particularly, to sort of try to wall their stuff in so that you only see a spatial photo on an Apple Vision Pro. Um, so it's going to be, I think, very helpful to have it be a little bit easier to look at those without necessarily having Apple technology to view them with.
yeah.
You know, the spatial videos or just 3D videos. Right now Apple is talking about working with Vimeo. Would you be considering making your website as big as like an actual YouTube, where YouTube's 3D support is kind of hit or miss? Sometimes it just doesn't work. But if I could just drag a MVHEVC file directly on your site, and bam, they can stream to anywhere. That'd be an awesome type of hosting type of website if you offer that. So
Spatial video, we're doing that this week. That's all. That's like one of our high ticket priorities, actually. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to build a massive like $1 trillion like company over here. Like I want to be bigger than YouTube. They only reached $2 billion. Like you can go like 50 times that. I think this whole like immersive content space is so exciting. So.
So I'm curious, William, what is your view of this idea that smartphones are going to ultimately evolve into smart glasses? Do you
Yeah.
see that as being something that's going to happen fairly soon, or is it never going to really be that universal? Because I have the feeling that these products are basically the initial things like the Apple Vision Pro, the Galaxy XR, are just prototypes for what ultimately will be your smartphone is a pair of glasses that isn't that obtrusive, that it just, it's giving you all this information, but you're just sort of constantly interacting with it.
Yeah, so I think the smartphones in the current form will be a puck. But the thing is, um, I think it'll be in phases. AR glasses are going to be cannibalizing old industries. So like you'll see this in China right now. Like if you go to China, if you go to a museum, especially in China, AR glasses are completely cannibalizing the audio guide market over there. Like the audio guides, you pay like $10-15, right, to like have like a museum experience, but they like AR glasses already have a speaker in it, and you can like look at a dinosaur fossil and just see the dinosaur next to it. It's like so much better. I went to so many different museums in tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 cities around China. The museums are just completely filled with like little kids just running around with AR glasses. Like there's
Now,
no more audio.
do the museums provide the AR glasses, or do people already own them and they're just using the ones that they own?
They have lockers. They have these things where you can just scan a QR code and rent an AR glass for the museum.
So the AR glass comes with a puck that has content, or it feeds you content relevant to the museum through the glasses.
Yeah, and some of them plug into like WeChat on your phone, so some of them don't have a computing puck. They just go to WeChat. It's really, really interesting. So the VR sales in America are like really high, and the AR sales are like down here. In China, it's the complete opposite. The AR sales are like in the millions of glasses, and there's only like a couple 100,000 VR sales. And I've talked to a lot of people in the industry over there. They think it's like a cultural difference. They like I was talking to the head of product at Roku, and he was like he thinks it's based in like American and Chinese architecture because he's and home computers because he's like American homes often have a home office. It's like an individualistic society, and people want to be in their own experience. But he was like saying that like in China, like a lot of people are buying TVs for the first time. They're buying home computers for the first time. And it's like just get everybody in the family AR glasses. You don't even need a TV. And like there's no home. A lot of Chinese homes don't have home offices, and so you need like a way to like co-locate with each other without taking up too much physical space. And I mean, like Rokin's a billion-dollar AR glasses company, and that's like one of their views on like why that is kind of like a thing.
So does Rokid, because what you're describing is actually one of the things that frustrates me about glasses such as X-Real and Viture, is that as it stands right now, I don't think there is any way to share a large screen. In other words, you can put your X-Real glasses on and see this 90-foot 3D screen, but I can't have three people wearing them and all seeing the same 90-foot 3D screen. It all has to be locally generated. Is Rokid actually gotten to the point where they can have co-location? Or are there other companies in China selling glasses that let multiple people be seeing the same screen or the same digital object?
They do have some co-location experiences. I remember trying one of them. I forgot which pair I did, but I did do a co-location AR experience in Shanghai this past year and a half. Um, yeah, I think like yeah, and then like the glasses, I think that'll be a thing for like a decade, but then it'll probably move into like some bionic implant in your eye, and then after that,
Yeah.
it'll probably be like a Neuralink, you know? Because like VR, AR, it's like it's layers of like neural perception, you know? It's like you put a screen in front of your eyes, but then there's these things called bionic glasses, and they put a microchip at the back of your eyeball, and they shoot a laser from the glasses into your eye, and it hits the microchip,
Does that
and that
technology already exist, or is that
yeah,
just being
it's
prototyped?
been around for 5 years. It's to restore blindness in people.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's cameras on the glasses. It perceives the person's eyes don't work, right? So they shoot a laser of that camera feed to the back of their eye. That's perception, right? But then there's another layer of perception behind that, and it's literally your like neurons in your head, right? And so you can modulate those with like ultrasound. There's a startup called Prophetic. They make a halo, and it shoots ultrasound into your head, and it makes you lucid dream and see stuff. And then obviously the Neuralink, you know, you could literally just stimulate the visual neurons in your head. Um, so like I think right now it's just like okay, like we're trying to get closer and closer to the neurons every single.
Ha.
Yeah.
I see, John, you're on. You're not in so we're
No,
getting close to the end of our time. You've been very generous with your time. I don't know if you want to
you were
chat. I
great.
was hoping